This is my 2022 Honda Grom, completely stock for now, but that's about to change. Welcome to my Grom stunt build series. The last two videos we spent repairing Nick's bike that was crashed actually last year, and those videos did pretty well and they were super fun to make, so I figured why not keep the Grom content coming with my Grom that's again completely stock. So yeah, let's get into this. I'm super excited. My goal is to turn this stock Grom into a fully capable stunt machine. This build will evolve as I grow as a rider and eventually get a full-size sport bike. Once that happens, this Grom will become my fully dedicated stunt bike. As you can see, it's just got a little bit of scrapes on this side. One time I was taking a corner a little bit too tight, a little bit too fast, and slid out. So I pretty much just scraped up the stock muffler here. I do have another one coming. I'll talk about that in a little bit. As well as this foot brake got bent upwards a little bit to where it's a little uncomfortable to push down. So I am going to try and heat this up and bend it a little bit downwards to where it's more comfortable. If I can't, of course I'll buy a whole new brake kit. But it is kind of hard to replace. We tried to do it on Nick's bike. And of course I'm getting rid of this entire rear fender piece thing. They make some nice tail tidy kits, so I've got one that I'm going to show you in a little bit. As well as completely deleting these turn signals. I got a nice tail light that will integrate those turn signals, as well as these turn signals. I have little integrated ones that I'll show you in just a second here. But yeah, a whole lot in store for this bike. So I had to take it in the garage here because these freaking cicadas are so loud. But anyway, I got some new parts here. First, starting off with the new battery. I got the YTZ 7S. The stock one's a 5S, but this one will fit. It gives you a little bit more cranking amps. So we're actually going to put this guy in today at the very end of the video. This bike hasn't been able to start on its own in probably over a year. I've been jumping it. By that I mean just taking it out to the street and dumping it out of first gear. But anyway, we're going to have a good old electric start again. So that's nice. I really do have to get a battery tender for this car as well, because both the Grom and this car, the batteries always die over winter, and they go dry. They don't, you're not able to recharge them. So now in this box that we got from TST, it was actually a couple boxes, but I went ahead and combined it into one. I'm going to speak up here because I really don't know how loud those cicadas are for you guys. So they're loud for me though, that's for sure. In this box, we have the TST integrated taillight. Super excited for this. Super excited for all of this, but this is going to be sick. Am I just going to break this box? Like, okay. Okay, there we go. It was more simple than I thought. So here is the tail light. Let me get a good light on there. There you go. Now you can see this is pretty sick. Not sure how well the GoPro gets that, but yeah, it's integrated turn signals. So this top part will go left and right there, and it's a pretty bright brake light too, because it's all LED. So that's sick. And they give you the probably some adapters to connect it with the stock hardware. I have no idea how any of this is going to go, by the way. We did it on Nick's bike, but we couldn't get his turn signals to work properly, even though we used the relay. So here's the relay, by the way. This is what they say that you need to be able to run integrated turn signals off the stock electronics. So I'm also going to be running the front ones too, so we're probably going to have a good time figuring all this out. Which, by the way, we're going to start in next video. The first mod that we're going to do is the integrated turn signal, as well as this, the I guess tail tidy, if you will. It's a really tiny piece. It's just to cover up, hold on, I'll show you this opening here, because as you can see, when we remove this piece here that sticks out, that juts out, super ugly. We're just going to need to cover up that area there, and that's what this plate is for. And it'll give us a license plate mount for right here, versus way out here. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that's really going to clean up the way the back of this bike looks. And then we have, obviously, the turn signals are going to be integrated into the tail light instead of here, and it's going to be smoked, so like that black gray is going to be sick. Also, guys, I'm going to order these in the next couple of days here, the TST hardware pack. So I'm basically going to go black metal on all of this. So these will be black metal, these are going to be black metal, and so on and so forth. I just think silver doesn't really belong entirely on this bike. At some point I might consider getting these painted as well, but for now I think just getting rid of those, and then we'll still have silver on the Force, of course. So alright, so we've got our tail tidy and our integrated tail light, as well as the relay flasher relay. And then here are the new front turn signals. So these are really cool. They still flash orange, but it's LED orange, so it's very bright, and they're gonna sit nice and flush with the center force there, if you will. They're not gonna stick out on the stalks as you saw in the walk around video there. So that's gonna be really cool, and it's gonna be kind of a challenge to wire all these up properly, including this, the tail light, and this flasher relay, as well as you could do like tons of stuff with this too. And I did do the running light option, so these can be configured to be DRLs, right, daytime running lights. So I guess we'll have to figure all that out. One of the things that drew me into TST, Nick pointed this out, is that they have how-to videos on almost every product on their website. So if you're trying to figure out how to get any of this done, then obviously you have the videos to follow, which I am going to be using, so that this is as smooth, accurate, and I guess high quality as possible. And then in this box they give you some, like a key ring. That's pretty cool. Another key ring, that one's pretty big. And we got a bunch of TST stickers in here as well, which I'm thinking I might put one of these on my helmet, and then one somewhere on the bike, like somewhere low key, like a small one. So we'll consider that when we install all this. So on top of all this stuff that I've just unboxed for you here, I also have a Yoshimura exhaust in the mail, as well as I'm going to be ordering an intake tonight here right after this video. I'm looking at Chimera and 2 other brands for an intake, so I'm going to decide on that. Potentially a tune in the future. That would be pretty sick. You don't need a tune with an intake and exhaust, but maybe to get more power I'll have to do some research there. And then bars, I'm looking at the ProTapers. I was split between the fat bar setup, like a 1 1/8 bar, versus a 7/8 bar, which is what it's stock on the Honda Groms. I think I'm just going with the 7/8, so I don't have to worry about replacing like everything on the bar setup, and it'll still stay kind of true to the stock feel. But potentially going a fat bar setup in the future would be beneficial for stunting. And as well as the bars, obviously new grips. I really like some of the custom like Vans grips. I think those are sick. I'm probably going to get some something like that just to spice it up a little bit, as well as like a matching foot peg would be really cool to like match the grips to the foot pegs. Of course that would be probably beneficial for doing wheelies for better control, better grip. And then levers and mirrors, probably. I don't know. Nick's not running mirrors. I'm thinking I've run them off before. You can just unthread them real quick. If I can find like a low profile, better looking one, I'll probably get them. As well as, of course, levers. I want to do a shortened clutch lever, maybe 2 fingers probably. Should provide better grip on the bar because I can still hold on with these 2 fingers and not have to pull the clutch with my entire hand. As well as your shorter brake lever, probably 3-finger or a 2-finger brake lever as well. Because that brake is really touchy. You just need the littlest amount of pressure and you're stopping. So last but not least, probably for the beginning rendition of this bike, I'm thinking a little bit of a gearing change. I'm going to have to do my research there, but I don't want to change the gearing too much because stock gearing on the Grom is pretty good as it sits, but to add a little bit more low end torque so that I can get it up easier in first gear without having to like absolutely dump the clutch, hitting the red line. That would be great. Because I have been wheeling this bike a little bit. I can't really get the balance point right now because I'm like chasing out the wheelie on the throttle. Also, I'm still a little bit uncomfortable with being up, so I'm just really trying to practice getting it up and then using the rear brake. Get it up, use the rear brake. So for the time being, I feel like this is a perfect little starting mods for this bike, because I don't need anything too crazy yet, you know. So yeah guys, I am just going to wash this thing up real quick in the driveway. I do have this like what do you call, hose attachment sprayer thing that's sitting right on the shelf there, which I don't usually like to use with my cars, because you have to like use a touch, like a foam brush or a rag or something, and I don't like doing that on cars, and it takes forever to get every square inch. But for the Grom, it's perfect, because you just rinse it off, use that stuff, foam it up, scrub all the areas that you want to get, which isn't that much on there, and then rinse it all off again. And so I'm gonna get that going, and then we'll see how this thing really looks sitting out there in the sun. So I just popped the seat off to put the battery in, and of course, I knew there was a nest in here, dude. So for those of you who aren't familiar, that is a mice nest, and we've had them in our shed for a couple years now. So they didn't chew anything on the bike, the cushion's all good, but they did eat other stuff in the shed, and then made their nest in here with the paper and whatnot. So I'm just going to use some paper towels, grab that out of there. That's definitely not good for electronics, because that shit's really dry and could combust if there was such a spark. So yeah, I'm going to get that one out of there and then put my new battery in. But yeah, who would have thought? Jeez, mice nest. So it didn't come out all in one piece as I thought it would. It was coming out in clumps. It's a little bit wet from when I washed it, so I had to get the shop back out. Oh, just when I thought it was fine. For those of you who don't know, mice love to chew random objects, and they chose to chew on, yeah, a little bit of copper wiring there. That's not bad, but fuck. I wonder if that's the starting fuse. I wonder if this battery is fine. But I would have noticed this earlier. I had this open last year, and this was not this bad. And there's like mice shit in there too. Yeah, that brown stuff. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Well, I'm gonna have to figure out a place to put this in the garage for now. Cannot go in the shed anymore. I would say I could like cover it, but even if it was covered, I know the mice would find their way up in there. And wow, that really makes me wonder if they chewed other stuff. I really hope they didn't. I don't know what that is. I'm gonna look that up real quick. And then there's the fuse box right here, which I don't know if that's all intact or not, but for sure that is not good. Whatever this guy is. That looks similar to a turn signal relay that I have in there. So I wonder if it's just that. That would be ideal. Here's a little bit of a battery size comparison. This is the stock one. And then we got our new one right here. So it's pretty much the same footprint. Alright. But it's just a little bit taller. So it'll hold a little bit more power, and I think a little bit more cranking amps. So we'll drop this bad boy down in there. Of course, first I have to attach the little hardware that they gave me in this little kit. So, all right, it's a little hiccup I had. The stock way that they have this wire going is not quite tall enough to be able to reach the taller battery. So what I had to do was disconnect this little fitting from down there where you see that open hole gap. It's not quite focusing, but it's there. And once you yank this out of there, it gives you all the wiring that you need to be able to reach whatever type of height that you've got. There it is. So before it was like way down here, and it was just barely high enough for the stock type battery. But since this one's taller, I had to pull it up to like right about there. So I'm gonna see if I can slide this collar guy down more so I can still lock it in so this thing's not flopping around. But if I can't, I'm sure it's not the end of the world, so we'll see. All right, so we got the battery all hooked up here. What do we say? What are the chances of it starting up? Let's see. Wow. Haven't seen that in a while. Here we go. Damn. Starts right up, dude. So quiet. Not for long. Yeah, that's pretty sick. You can hardly tell that it's a bigger battery too. It's just barely on there. Dang, dude. I haven't had electric start in over a year. I said that earlier. So I think this is the turn signal relay, which I do have a new one on, so that's extremely lucky. We're about to find out. I'm gonna let it run for a second here and see how the turn signals react when I do them. So yeah, these are completely gonna go, and then those little bulbs I showed you are gonna attach right there. This one's super clean. This one's broken a little bit. Tried to fix it. It's oh well. I feel like those little stalks are kind of ridiculous on the front end there. It's gonna be so much cooler with it just chopped right there. Yeah, that quiet ass exhaust has gotta go, man. You can hardly tell this thing's running. Yeah. That's all gonna change. So yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this week's video. I appreciate you guys a ton for coming by and watching this. If you could do me the biggest favor ever and drop a like on this video, put something down in the comments. If you guys have a Grom, what are you guys doing to it? Are you gonna go full stunt? Are you getting some of the similar mods that I'm getting? Also, help me out. What air intake should I get? I'm looking at Chimera and two other brands that I can't remember off the top of my head, but at this point I'm probably gonna go with Chimera because I've heard nothing but good things. I gotta wrap this up because the cicadas are getting loud. Anyway, guys, just let me know what you want to see more of in the comments. Don't forget to come back next Sunday. We're gonna be doing the tail tidy kit back there and the turn signals and the turn signals up front as well. Everything like that. We're getting the lighting going. I figure it's time anyway with seeing as how chewed those wires were for that turn signal relay. So yeah. Also, I did remove the rear strap on the seat. I think it looks a whole lot more clean now. I might put it back on. It's really just two bolts that are underneath the seat, really easy to get to. So yeah, guys, subscribe if you're not already, and stay objective driven. I'll see you guys next week.